Thank you for having me.
We're going to turn now to the images that you saw here on NBC 10 nearly 2 weeks ago. Hundreds of people storming into stores, taking bags full of items during the unrest in Philadelphia.
But here's the question. Where did all these stolen goods go and who's looking for it? NBC 10 investigative reporter Claudia Vargas went to the hardest hit areas to find out.
Alarms are still going off here on Kensington Avenue, and business owners are sorting through the mess left behind by looters. Some say they don't expect to get back what was stolen. We wanted to know what law enforcement is doing to find the loot. Looters threw a rock through the glass front window of Lizzie Lynn Hair Salon. The Parkside Salon surveillance camera captured the looters rushing in. First, she empties out the display case, then she makes a dash for the back room.
They took as many lashes as they possibly could take. We keep storage of hair. They took 2 cases of hair. They took a laptop.
The salon's owner, Sean Watson, was in Orlando with his family at the time. His shop is one of 928 Philadelphia businesses that reported being looted during the George Floyd protest. Where do you think those items went?
Man, they could be anywhere. They're probably in the streets anywhere.
Watson says about $15,000 worth of hair bundles were stolen. He says he filled out a police report once he returned from Florida, but he has not heard back from Philly PD. We asked Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw whether any looted items have been recovered and given back to shop owners.
You know what, I'm not prepared to answer that at this time. Actually, frankly, I don't know the answer to that. We'll have to circle back.
So what can businesses expect from police? I mean, will they be getting any of the items that were stolen back at some point?
I would hope so. I mean, as with any crime, I think the biggest piece for us is going back and recovering evidence.
Philadelphia police have arrested more than 600 people for looting, but have not said whether any items were recovered from those arrested. Police in Colwyn tracked down dozens of looted items to an apartment: sneakers, Nike t-shirts, alcohol, and beauty supplies, much of it still with tags. The borough mayor says the goods were returned to the stores. The NBC 10 investigators found various online postings for new shoes in Philadelphia days after the looting incidents. Shoe stores were some of the hardest hit. It's unclear if the ads are for looted items. We also walked around some neighborhoods to see if looted items were being sold on the street. We found a cart full of shoes in Kensington. A guy by the name of Iris was manning it. He says some of it may have been looted by others and dropped and then picked up. He offered to sell us shoes for as low as $15.
Make a couple bucks because they're homeless and I'm homeless, and you got to do what you have to do to survive out here.
But perhaps the most concerning loot is that of prescription drugs. Nafisa and Mitch Patel own the medicine shop on Kensington Avenue. It is one of about 180 pharmacies that were burglarized during the violent protests.
Register.
The Patels say about $500,000 in drugs were stolen. If that were true for all looted pharmacies, it would be a $90 million loss in just Philadelphia. Most concerning for pharmacy owners and federal authorities is the theft of oxycodone, Percocet, and other narcotics that are highly addictive and have a high street value.
Very upsetting that things that weren't meant to be out on the street are out on the street.
If you need any help, DEA agents have been helping Philadelphia pharmacies assess and report what prescription drugs were stolen. Agent Pat Traynor says more than 1/3 of all Philadelphia pharmacies were burglarized. Some were wiped clean, others were more strategic thefts, with only prescription painkillers and controlled substances taken.
We've seen looters actually going through the shelves, reviewing trying to find drugs that have a great street value.
This is what's left of it.
In some cases, such as with the Patels, the computers where inventory is kept and security systems were also stolen. What's the likelihood that you'll be able to recover some of these stolen drugs?
Hopefully we will. As far as where they are, we don't. It's hard to say where those drugs are at this point.
Agents are working to quantify the total loss and find the perpetrators. In the meantime, pharmacies are trying to pick up the pieces and rebuild.
I don't know how to come back from it, but all we can do is try.
If the stolen pills are recovered, they will most likely be held for evidence and ultimately destroyed. They cannot go back to the pharmacies. For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.
In the meantime, celebrating our graduates. And saluting our Special Olympians, NBC 10 takes a look at what's good around our region next. And riding into summer, how a group of local teachers is carrying on a last day of school tradition with some very special students.